Title: The Gift and the Curse, Act 1. The miracle drug. Dr. Elias Vance's clinic was just like any other small-town practice until he prescribed Nexphoria, an experimental medication for chronic pain. The results were astonishing. Patients didn't just heal, they transformed. Mrs. Calloway, an elderly woman with arthritis, suddenly regained the strength of her youth, then accidentally crushed a doorknob in her grip. Jeremy, a depressed college student, found he could hear whispers from 3 blocks away. Detective Ruiz, recovering from a gunshot wound, realized he could see through walls but also glimpse things he shouldn't have. At first, Elias was thrilled. He had given his patients more than relief, he had given them power. Act 2. The dark side, but Nexphoria's side effects grew stranger and darker. Mrs. Calloway's strength came with uncontrollable rage. She nearly tore apart her own home. Jeremy Shearing became unbearable. He couldn't sleep, tormented by the sounds of heartbeats, lies, and distant screams. Ruiz started seeing entities lurking in the shadows, things that stared back at him. Then came the addiction. Patients returned not for pain relief, but for the next dose, because when they stopped taking it, their powers faded. And the withdrawal was agony. Some claimed they saw visions of something watching them from beyond. Act 3. The temptation. One night, Lucas, a former mechanic with pyrokinetic abilities, dropped a duffel bag on Elias's desk. It was full of cash. "Keep the prescriptions coming. Doc, name your price." Others followed. A tech billionaire offered millions for a private supply. A crime boss threatened him for the formula. Even the government took interest. Elias knew he had to stop. But the money, the power, the influence, it was intoxicating. Act 4. The breaking point. When Ruiz burst into his office, eyes wild, babbling about the eyes in the dark, Elias finally understood Nexphoria wasn't just unlocking potential. It was opening a door. Some patients were mutating. Some were losing their minds, and some were no longer entirely human. Act 5. The choice. Elias burned his research. He cut off the supply, but it was too late. His patients, now addicts, now monsters, came for him. They didn't want a doctor anymore. They wanted their god. Final scene. The last prescription. As shadows moved unnaturally outside his clinic, Elias swallowed the last Nexphoria pill himself. His eyes turned black, and he smiled. "Fine, let's play. Would you like a sequel?" Nexphoria Ascension. Opening scene. The awakening. Black screen. A slow heartbeat echoes, then snap. Elias's eyes fly open, glowing like dying embers. "Elias, they say power corrupts. But they're wrong. Power doesn't corrupt, it reveals." Flashback. His clinic in ruins. Patients, now twisted by Nexphoria, lurching toward him. Lucas, wreathed in flames. Ruiz, his pupils split like a reptile's. Mrs. Calloway, her skin cracking like stone. Elias, I tried to burn it all, but the fire, it answered me. Present day. Elias stands in a scorched field. His hands, once healing hands, now drip molten shadows. He flexes his fingers. The ground trembles. Act 1. The new god, Elias, outskirts of town, testing his abilities. Telekinesis. He crushes a car with a glance. Regeneration. A gunshot wound seals itself instantly. Whispers. He hears the thoughts of the desperate, the addicted, the ones still searching for Nexphoria. But then the visions start. A black sun pulses on the horizon. A voice, ancient and hungry, slithers into his mind. The voice, "You are the door. Open wider." Act 2. The followers' news spreads. A cult forms, the Nexborn, fanatics who believe Elias is a prophet. They beg for his blood, his sweat, anything to gift them powers. Among them, Lena, a dying woman who swallows a drop of Elias's shadow and sprouts wings made of bone. The dealer, a former pharmacist who distills Elias's tears into a new drug, Eclipse. Elias tries to control them, but the cult grows violent. They sacrifice a cop, painting the walls with his still-beating heart. Elias, I didn't want this. The voice, Liar. Act 3. The opposition. A blackout arrives, led by Agent Kara Voss, a woman with a bionic eye that can see supernatural energy. Kara, you're not a god doctor. You're an outbreak. They shoot him with collars that suppress his powers. For the first time in months, Elias feels pain. But the cult attacks. Lena eviscerates soldiers with her talons. The dealer melts faces with a touch. In the chaos, Elias breaks free. Act 4. The choice. Elias stands over Kara, her throat in his grip. Sheiks, Kara, you could still stop this. The voice roars, the voice kill her. Ascend flashbacks his clinic. His oath, the first patient he ever lost. Elias's grip tightens then releases. Elias no, the voice screams. The cultists clutch their heads as their powers turn inward, consuming them. Lena's wings snap her spine, the dealer's skin liquefies. Elias collapses, his own body crumbling to ash. Final scene, the aftermath. Kara crawls to Elias's remains. Only his left eye remains intact. It blinks. She picks it up, and the pupil dilates, staring into her soul. Kara, oh God, cut to black, distant sirens. Then a slow, inhuman heartbeat, fade out.